Will self-destruct in 20 seconds. This is your last chance to push the cancellation button.
Cancellation button? Hurry!
Where is it? Where is it?
It's gonna be here. Out of order! Fuck!
Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding.
There's the other end! Faster!
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Woodshed. I'm Leo Valdez, and again, I'm without one Hunter Horn, but I just want to say and start by saying thank you guys for being, and as probably you can tell, I'm not in the best of shape either, but I did want to come and do this, and I did want to say thank you guys. Your feedback was phenomenal, especially when it came to what I'm about to talk about yet again, and kind of like almost to lay it to rest, but not exactly. I just want to leave to just, I just want to be able to answer this question, and just as a definitive way of saying that, yes, the Noles got robbed, but I don't think that there's a whole lot of evidence that would completely give like anybody who felt that way a bit of like closure, because even if you do feel you got robbed, I believe that two things need to happen in order for there to be like a message to the committee to say that this is actually something that happened, because you can kind of feel that way, and yeah, I can kind of see it excuse me, but I can also see where it didn't happen. Now, there's two things that do need to happen in order for the Noles to solidify that they deserved that shot in the college football playoff and that they got robbed. The Noles need to beat the brakes off of the Georgia Bulldogs. But this comes with a caveat, because FSU needs to shut down or even shut out Georgia, and they need to at least have one of their touchdowns come from the air. This would send a message across all of college football to the validity of the Seminole football program. However, there is a second thing that needs to happen that will finally put a stamp on the indication of being robbed, and that is that either the Longhorns or the Tide need to lose in a big way. Michigan and Washington need to absolutely decimate their opponents. Now, it can either be one or the other, but or it can actually, it could be both of them or one or the other. Either way, they have to prove that the third and fourth team didn't deserve to be there, that the Longhorns or the Tide didn't deserve, and that FSU deserved it by how they beat Georgia. It's not that they just beat Georgia, that they actually, like, how they do it will matter. In other words, they have to do it in a way that signifies that Jordan Travis wasn't the only premier athlete in the program that can actually be that X factor that would have gotten them, like, to say that if 13-0 Florida State had gone with Jordan Travis and won the ACC, then excuse me, clearly that they would have made the college football playoff. I think that they were kind of in the air about it, but Jordan Travis's injury kind of like just killed it, like killed the conversation, and was like the good excuse that they were looking for. Now, can this happen? These two things will cement the sentiment felt by all the Noles fans who say they were slighted. However, if the semifinal games are close or the Tide and the Longhorns win, sorry guys, better luck next year with the 12-team playoff. And that's if they even beat the Bulldogs. Now, if they miss on both opportunities, let's say that either the Longhorns or the Tide, they manage to beat their opponents, and like the Seminoles basically look like they're sloppy out there, then then the way that people are going to look at it as if like they were saved from the college football playoff and that it was for their own good and that they really should have been ranked underneath the Tigers at MisOU. I don't know. And it's not going to look good for Norvell, especially with the way that he kind of wants this to go to court and kind of feel like, you know, with all the money that they themselves put into their program, that they feel that they got robbed. But I'm like, listen, I think you need to see how everything comes together in the end. And it could be one of those two things. I think they got robbed of an opportunity to be able to prove themselves, but at the same time, let's see how they do against Georgia. You never really know. I think there's too much at stake by saying that you're the college football champion. And it does feel good to win that trophy. That's what you're playing for. You're playing to win the trophy. Like Herm Edwards once said, you play to win the game, right? So I get the slight, but I think if you want to prove your point that you were slighted, then these are the things that need to happen, and these are the things that you need to do. It's not just that the Tide and the Longhorns need to lose in a big way. You also need to beat Georgia. You need to prove that you can beat a top-tier SEC team that they themselves feel like they got robbed from the SEC championship game. So, like I said, everybody's always feeling like they're getting robbed just because they're not going to have it. Okay, fine. Then play like you earn your spot. And then everybody else will be none the wiser. The college football playoff will continue. Only next year it's going to be 12 teams, and it's going to be very hard to be a top 6 team in the college football playoff and think that, you know, that just makes you an automatic winner. Like I said, anything can happen on any given Saturday or in any given Sunday. So all we can do is wait a few weeks and for the moment and stop talking about it for right now. Enjoy the game. There's a bunch of bowl games that are going to be so much fun to watch. And that is not my final word, but it is my semi-final word, because I guarantee you probably after the New Year's Six Bowls and the National Football Championship game, I will have something else to say about this as well. So don't worry. This isn't the end of the discussion, but I think we just need to lay it to rest right now. Bama fans can feel as happy as they want, but if you get the brakes beaten off of you and FSU manages to beat Georgia, then sorry, the Tide just, to me, looked like a weak team that was put in there by the sheer act of a favor. So again, you don't want to, as a director of a program, I wouldn't want to be seen that way. I'm not saying that that's what they are and they're trash. I'm saying that, you know, if you actually end up if you get egg on your face, then you're going to have to be dealing with that, you know? So don't, for now, everybody can laugh and chide and everybody can whine and cry. I say, let's let these teams hash this out. And I don't think it will be up for debate, but we'll definitely see if somebody was left with egg on their face. So for right now, again, that is the semifinal word on the college football playoff. Now I'm going to move over to the NBA, where I don't know if you knew this, but there was a tournament, an in-season tournament. I know I talked about it, and I will be brief and I will be nice, but I will be deliberate. The ratings for the NBA in-season tournament weren't all that great. The truth is that Vegas always sends a bit of false positive because, well, Laker fans were only like a few hours away and are considered one of the most loyal fan bases in all of pro sports. And LeBron did great, showing that age is just a number until the longevity of the season catches up to him. Now, it's not to say that this wasn't something, I will say that Commissioner Silver he has his work cut out for him if he intends for all of this to succeed. Now, I will not fault him for trying, and December is the absolute worst month for basketball. Yet he knew this and should take some of the blame for a lack of understanding. Like, the invitationals for the NCAA usually come to an end in early December, and then teams take a break and they get ready for the interconference play that comes in January. Mr. Silver was trying to hit a soft spot, and unfortunately, he bounced right off the edge. I know he's not listening. I know I'm not like, listen, I know my viewership is not like millions and millions and millions, and so everyone should listen to what I have to say. However, I do have a suggestion that the tournament should play out from Thanksgiving and catch up around Christmas time. I believe if the games were scheduled, say, like if the championship, like the quarterfinal, the semifinal, and the final were scheduled, that they would end on the 22nd, which is next week, the NBA would have carried some serious primetime numbers, because that is the week that the NFL heats up with teams that are trying to fight for wild card spots, and that's when people are anticipating the better bowl games to be kind of rolling along. In other words, the NBA is going to have to get a lot meaner and actually grow a pair if it wants to compete with the media market that beats it up every December. For me, good games are good games. Watching sports with no breaks sounds a bit like good quality TV. And I have this feeling that our sports fans out there, you guys listening to me, and and everybody else out there that loves sports, I think you guys would agree that in reality, I think that they're missing a spot, and they're giving too much of a cushion where they can kind of like contend and still find ways where everybody can watch the football games they want to watch and watch the basketball games that they want to watch, and it's just nonstop sports television, and everybody wins. Everybody comes out winning. And I think that if they did that, I think people would have paid more attention to this in-season tournament. So it has a lot of potential, but I think scheduling it a little bit later in the beginning of the season will actually help Commissioner Silver with what he's trying to do, which is trying to get people to watch basketball during football season, right? All right. And so I'm going to leave that there where it is. I think that's a valid. Anybody who has a difference of opinion, or if you think maybe the tournament should be longer, or anything else that you think would actually help this situation, go ahead, leave it in the comments below. Like I said, I watch and I listen, and I don't usually tend to engage because I want to engage when I get behind the mic. But it's the same thing. Whereas with the college football playoff, a lot of you guys had to say, so I kind of carried on the conversation. So don't think I'm not listening. And this with the in-season tournament, I think it has a lot of potential because I actually did enjoy it some, but it kind of fell flat at the very end. It was kind of like, all right, the Lakers win the championship. And then it was like, it was a story that got basically erased by the Browns having a really good game on a Sunday. It's like, what? All of a sudden, the Browns are overtaking what the NBA tried to accomplish. So you have to be very careful. I think that because the good teams in the NFL are winding down, and it is the NFL wild card season, it's like the wild card is trying to wrap itself up, that people are going to be engaged. Also, you have some decent bowl games. You don't have the best bowl games. They're about to happen. So basically, you're finding yourself entering in when people are actually wanting to tune into their TV to watch sports, rather than, it's just let's find this happy place where we don't piss off the NFL and the NCAA. And it's like, I'm sorry, if you do that, then what's going to happen is exactly what happened. That people will remember, but then everybody will be like, there was an in-season tournament this year. Like, you don't want that. You want people to be like, you want people to see the in-season tournament as a reason to get hyped up for the rest of the season, especially when you're trying to revitalize your all-star break. All right? So I'm going to leave that where it is and actually take a trip. Now, I know the name of the show is The Woodshed, but in The Woodshed, we actually take people to The Woodshed. And I haven't done this in quite some time, so please forgive me if I seem a little rusty. But I do have something that it needs to be discussed, and it is NBA related, and that is we got to talk about Draymond Green. I am taking Draymond Green to the woodshed, and this is not easy for me to do because Draymond Green is actually a very scary guy. Now he's looking at an indefinite suspension for the third time this season after his third ejection this season. And now I don't want to look at this from an objective lens. Though there will come a moment when I excoriate Mr. Green, I do not want to do it because there's a bandwagon out there of everybody who's trying to do it. On the 13th of December, the Warriors were playing the Phoenix Suns while Draymond was trying to get open on the outside near the edge of the three-point line. He is actually he's kind of being held because, hello, basketball is a contact sport. He's being held, and in a moment of frustration, he turns around and throws a haymaker at Yusuf Nurkic. Or Nurkic, however you guys want to say his name. I don't know. I'm not fluent in all European languages. So just he hits his opponent in the face. What I was surprised not to see was actually Draymond kick Yusuf in the groin afterwards. Why? Well, because Draymond has a real nasty habit of saying these things are unintentional and it's just accidents, but they seem, if you really look at it, as intentional, harmful outbursts. Doing fadeaway shots with his legs out so that he would kick players in the groin, which he had done several times. He has been known to be a physically deliberate person, and yet it has amazed me that for more than 5 years of this, because it's been a while, and this happens every year where we talk about Draymond getting physical, except when he's hurt and he's not playing, because he's hurt and he's not playing. And yet, like the fact that the NFL, it may as well be the NFL, came short of tackling the guy after he knocked him out, or at least knocked him down. All right, now that goes without saying. He's an amazing athlete, and he is truly talented in his profession. The problem lies in the emotional temper tantrums, which have led to accidental pot shots and now could be seen as a season-ending right hook. And though I take issue with Draymond, it is really the fault of the league. The NBA was asked to do something about this over and over again, but they didn't touch their golden calf. Not Draymond Green, but they didn't touch the Golden State Warriors. And now we are left with an apparent menace on the court. Truth be told, I'm pretty sure Draymond is actually, what I've been told, what I've seen, he's actually a nice guy. And as I stated before, he is a very talented basketball player. But sadly, this behavior will mar his career and keep him from growing his legacy and growing as a man. Sometimes it takes the right punishment to bring out the good character and flush out this immaturity. So Draymond has to either get right or get out. And sadly enough, this is up to him. And this is shame on the NBA for not doing the right thing early on when he was doing things like this or behavior similar to this. Because there's one thing when you're playing basketball, and I've said before, basketball is a contact sport, but it's not MMA, and it's definitely not the WBA, and it's not the WBO, and this isn't a title fight. This is basketball on the court. Yeah, sometimes you'll throw an elbow. Yeah, sometimes you'll do a push off. That's normal stuff. But kicking your leg out and throwing out haymakers like he just did, this is an escalation of behavior that was not corrected by the league. And so therefore, I believe the league deserves the responsibility not to actually suspend him indefinitely, but just suspend him long enough for them to say, fine, we're handling it. But I think this is for the Golden State Warriors to consider whether or not they want to keep him on the team. He needs a humbling experience that he should have experienced or should have had years ago. And because people in positions of authority don't know when to exercise their authority, you get mishaps and misbehaviors just like this. Now, I'm not trying to get, up and personal and crazy with what's going on with Draymond, but dude, you need to spend some time in the woodshed. And like I said, either you got to get right or you got to get out. And that's my personal opinion. Why? Because there's just a way in which you have to understand that sportsmanship in the middle of it has man. And as a man, you cannot behave this way. That's the way I see it. Like I said, you could disagree with me, or maybe there's a different, maybe you think that there's a different approach that we should have to stuff like this happening in the league. Like I said, always leave comments below. Tell me what's up. Tell me what's on your mind. I have no issues hearing you guys out because, like I said, I could be wrong. But as always, this is your boy, Leo, saying thanks for listening. And as always, thank you for visiting the Woodshed.